Yeah, those BBLs be stinking. So you guys may have seen this online that BBL smells is trending.
In the section, and it could be like 2 or 3 BBL baddies, and you wondering like who the hell got cheesy fries? Like who got their socks out? You know, something don't smell right. It ain't the champagne, it ain't the Hennessy.
Well, what's wrong with your hygiene? I'm going to start a campaign of men, right? Men and musty balls. Okay, let's do a campaign. Let's do a viral clip of how we've had to be intimate with men and their musty balls sack. Okay, so I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm really over our asses being the topic of discussion and what it smells like. Well, what does underneath of your balls smell like, sir? That's what I want to know.
Guess I gotta hit him with the update. Really with it, I ain't got a pump fake. Killer flow and hit him with the one take.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Chrissy Comments, where we sit in my living room and talk about whatever the day has brought us. So please give me the story so I can put my opinion on it. And today I'm going to be putting my opinion on the latest and greatest craze and hot topic of BBLs and whether they stink or not. And I honestly did not think that I would have to come on here so soon. If you watched my previous video a few weeks ago about black women's obsession with vaginal odor, well, apparently it's just not black women's obsession with vaginal odor. It is America's obsession with women's down there parts and what they smell like. It is continuously a hot topic. And now the newest topic are the girls that had a little extra junk in the trunk put back there. And apparently they're out here stinking. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to see if this is just a made up farce, made up by men to embarrass women, or is there some truth to it? So let's look at it.
Do BBL stink? That's going viral right now.
Guys, there's a crazy conversation right now going on about BBLs and them having a bad smell. Apparently, BBLs carry a very bad odor.
And on TikTok complain, people with BBLs, wait for it, do be stinking.
This all started a few days ago with this random man on TikTok, and he went online to give his account of a date that he went on with a woman who apparently had her body done. She had a BBL, and when at the end of their date, I guess a long day, when they got intimate, that there was a foul odor coming from her ass. So let's take a look at what this guy had to say and why it has sparked such a crazy online debate.
Yeah, those BBLs be stinking. So you guys may have seen this online that BBL smells is trending. And there are a lot of reasons for that smell, but I think that I will tell you guys a story about a girl that I dated, and I took her out. She had a BBL. Her body looked crazy good. Like, she had it done right. Her whole body looked amazing. So we linked up and we went out, had a really good time. We went to a Lakers game and then went to a spot by LA Live and had some dinner. Had a really good time. And so she was like, so what you trying to do? I was like, yeah, let's go back to my place and relax, have a nightcap and see where it takes us. So we drive back to my spot. And so light the candles, get the music going, open up a bottle of champagne, and we sitting there and we're having a nice vibe. And, we start getting into it and everything, and clothes start to come off. And she wanted to give me a little show. So she was like, just stand right there. And so, like, she took off everything very seductively and got on my bed and started twerking that thing, right? And I was like, what the hell? Because at this point, she got nothing on. And I smelled this smell, and it hits my nose. The shit was like a salt of my nose. I'm like, what the hell?
So first thing I want to point out is that if from his commentary about this date that he had with this woman, it's very clear that they had a very long day. All right. They had went to a Lakers game. They went out to eat, blah, blah, blah. And now they're back at his place. And I would say for anybody, I'm not trying to give hygiene advice, but for anybody, if you've been out and about, walking around, it is best to freshen up before you go get intimate with a partner, okay? It's best to take extra precaution.
And so I'm like, baby, not to be rude, but I know we had a long day. You're not smelling that fresh down there. I think you need to get into the shower and go ahead and freshen up. And she looked at me so embarrassed. I did it as gently as I could, but what I realized is if someone has had a normal size behind for all of their life, and then they switch up, and now they got this big BBL, they have to reach back there and really clean. You know what I'm saying? And if they're not used to doing that, they might not know that, hey, you sweat differently. Everything is different when you add that much more meat back there. That thing can't breathe as good.
So this is probably the most poignant point of what he's saying is, and I low-key kind of have to say, all right, I think it might be a little bit of truth there, because what he's saying is if a woman has had a certain size butt her whole life, or maybe on the smaller side, and then all of a sudden gets like this huge, big ass, then I can see there being maybe a correlation between a lack of hygiene and having to wash her behind. And maybe she really can't get in there really good, or not used to getting in there really good. Like, in between the cheeks, she might have had a normal sized butt or maybe a smaller sized butt, and a good wash over with the cloth once was just enough. But apparently with these BBLs, there's just a lot more meat back there, and you have to spend a little bit more extra time and care in that area or that region. And somebody, even a grown adult, may not be used to that. And so I can see where you might have a hygiene problem where we're seeing that the sweat of the day, the dirt of the day, or even the number 2 of the day is not getting properly cleaned as it used to back in the day before you got the extra fat added to your butt.
So she ended up getting in the shower and everything. I had everything that she needed. And I ended up clapping them cheeks. And it was much better. But some people, the smell, I think her smell was coming from just not being able to get back there and clean properly. But some people's smell is coming from what the excretions and what's coming out with the fat that they've actually put in to their bodies.
The comments to this TikTok were actually very interesting and quite funny. And this is what sparked the debate, because the comment section, honestly, because you had men who were saying that they agreed with this man's experience, that they had a girl with a foul odor that had a BBL. You had girls in here that who have said that they had a BBL, and they're like, yeah, you're right. We do have a hygiene issue. We don't feel that we can wash very properly. Another thing that came up were apparently the excretions from the BBL, which I was unaware of. So this is what I want to get into, which is there are some men online saying that the BBL stink, but now let's take a look at what could be causing that hygiene issue for women, and is it a medical issue that is stemming from the BBL itself?
Fat, necrosis. All right, everyone understands what the word fat means. Necrosis comes from, like all things in medicine, Latin or Greek, and it means to die. It means dead fat.
One of the things that I looked up in regards to BBLs and possible odors is something called fat necrosis. So fat necrosis is most likely to develop within the initial 3 months following a Brazilian butt lift.
And this happens to probably 100% of people that have a BBL, which I know may shock you. Like, what do you mean? I had a BBL, I don't have any fat necrosis. You probably do have fat necrosis. You just don't see it or feel it or are aware of it. It happens all the time because not 100% of the fat that we transfer survives.
So with fat necrosis, it basically is just the death of the fat cells in the new tissue, and that could definitely lead to a foul-smelling odor, as it would any surgical site, right? Any surgical site, there could be a possible infection or a necrosis of any kind of the skin, and in this sense, fat that has been transferred to the butt. So there are some women online who are saying that they have experienced some fat necrosis and excretions from the BBL that does not have a pleasant odor. But from what I've read, it really is just the beginning part of the BBL. It's within the first 3 to 4 months. really while you are still recovering, where you could have the potential side effects, right? Where necrosis would present itself as an issue, or infection would present itself as an issue, where you would see a possible odor.
So why would getting a BBL make you potentially smell bad? There are a lot of theories being thrown out there.
When women have liposuctions and BBLs, about 3 weeks later, all the way up to 3 weeks later, they have excretions, actually grease, that comes out of their body, and it has a putrid smell.
It's normal to get a little bit of drainage from having liposuction or BBL for a few days after surgery, but putrid smell after 3 weeks tells me you've got an infection. That is not normal.
So, I mean, so are the men saying that the girls with the BBL stink? Oh, yeah, it's just the excretions of the butt. Well, I don't think they're allowing you to clap their cheeks within the first 3 to 4 months of their procedure. I think that would be a little bit silly unless that was your boyfriend or something. So, I don't think that is the main cause of why BBL stink. Necrosis, blockage, or infection would definitely present itself within the first months of the surgery, where I think sexual activity will be quite limited because the person is still recovering. So I do not believe that is the main cause of why a man would potentially be smelling a foul odor with a woman with a BBL. So I think we can call that a farce, right? I think some people can have an odor with those complications of a BBL, but for men to sit up here and say, oh yeah, I've been smelling it, oh please, that I don't think that is due to that. I honestly don't.
Okay, guys, so I actually found this online, and I wish I found this way before I was editing this video, because I probably wouldn't have done this video. This guy is complete cap. He has been online on YouTube trying to be like a dating coach guru. I guess it hasn't been working out for him or what have you. And he decided to do what all men decide to do, which is try to make fun of women and embarrass women. So I guess this whole shtick of BBL stinking was his way to go viral and to have people listen to him while he tries to embarrass women. Kind of like a Kevin Samuels type. I just wanted to throw that in there, that please take this with a grain of salt. This guy, he's not the real deal. I actually think he just made this up, truthfully.
From what I can see, it has nothing to do. There's smells that can be with the necrosis. There's smells that can be with a infection. But ultimately, I think if you are with a woman with a BBL and you are smelling something, it is just simply due to her hygiene. I feel like it is a fair estimate to say that a woman might struggle a little bit more with her personal hygiene after a BBL, just because any incision or surgical site you have to be a little bit more careful with when you wash or clean and handle. And on top of it, I do believe as I was mentioning before, when you have more area, more tissue, you do have to be a little bit more thorough with washing that area, perhaps maybe with like antibacterial soap. I don't know, just a thought. And I think that is what women with BBLs could actually suffer from. Not all women. I think this is a very small percentage of women that might have this issue. I don't think this is a large issue. And in conclusion, what I want to say is that I believe that this is just another attempt for men to bring women down a peg. This is another attempt for men to try to embarrass women, which is really sad, because you don't have to embarrass us through talking about our personal hygiene on TikTok. That is very devastating, and once again, it's always a black man doing it, and I don't know what that is about. No, he did not give the race of this woman, but it's just something that's just not sitting well with me, that I just keep seeing a common thread of black men talking about women's hygiene. Like, it's almost as if like, well, what's wrong with your hygiene? I'm going to start a campaign of men, right? Men and musty balls. Okay, let's do a campaign. Let's do a viral clip of how we've had to be intimate with men and their musty balls sack. Okay, so I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm really over our asses being the topic of discussion and what it smells like. Well, what does underneath of your balls smell like, sir? That's what I want to know. That's what we need to be talking about. I think we just need to flip it on them, ladies. I really do. I would honestly ignore this comment, this commentary, ignore the foolishness. Yeah, and then we just need to start posting about when you're down there and it's must coming up. Let's talk about that. So they don't want to see no more fat asses. They don't want to see no more stinky fat asses. Okay, we will in turn. All right, let's flip the script and tell them we don't want to smell no stinky balls. All right, and then we can slow down on going underneath the knife for these BBLs, especially that they're using it as a weapon against us. That's what I don't like. Don't use that as a weapon against us. So thank you guys once again for listening to me rant and rave about this foolishness and the debauchery of our world. Please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye.